forgot my line. I forgot my line. I did forget my line. Let me just be more myself. Hey, 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 hey.
Hey.
Hey girl, what's up? How you doing? I am Adi Divine and I'll be your host for tonight. Tonight we will be discussing the rise and fall of an amazing fashion icon and absolute talented woman, Haley Dunphy, and how her character has gone from such an amazing character to, well, we'll get into it. So we'll see how it is. But before we begin, I hope you're hydrated. I hope you got your water. I hope you are here. You're paying attention. I just hope you're listening to me, okay? Because I'm not talking to just nobody, okay? Thank you. But let's get ready. Get your waters, because I've already told you once. I'm not going to tell you again. And let's get into it.
Hey, can you drop me off at the library? Sorry, I'm meeting some friends at that coffee shop on Lake.
You mean the one next to the library?
That's a library? I thought it was a church for a religion that didn't allow makeup.
As you may or may not know, Haley Dunphy is a character in an amazing popular show called Modern Family. Modern Family is just a show that entails the lives of three families: the Dunphy family, the Pritchard Tucker family, and the Pritchard Delgado family. Today we will be focusing mainly on the Dunphy family, especially focusing on Haley Dunphy. So, if you don't know who Haley Dunphy is, I'll give you a description. Haley Gwendolyn Marshall, aka Haley Dunphy, is the eldest child of Phil and Claire Dunphy, the oldest sister of Alex and Luke Dunphy, and the wife of Dylan Marshall, and the mother of the twins Poppy and George Marshall. Haley has worked multiple jobs since the series began and currently works as a style editor for the wacky internet lifestyle brand Nope. I don't know why they use the word wacky. I'm just gonna ignore that. But as we know, Haley Dunphy, she is a massive fashion icon. She is generally just an icon on her own. As she has sass, she has character, she is mean, but it's not like the mean that you wouldn't want to be friends with, or the mean bitchy mean. Is the nice mean, or the mean sister mean. So for today, we are going to be talking about how basically Haley's character has gone from just having one characteristic, being a 2D character, to being 3D, to going back to 2D. And I'm going to explain all of this throughout the video, and if I don't make sense, just come across the screen and slap me in the face, because most of the time I don't make sense to myself. So just deal with me, please. As we have known Haley since the very beginning, from season 1, we have known that the girl has been obsessed with fashion. We have known her love for fashion and her love for love in general. She's a very flirtatious character, and she very much is a player, quote unquote player, as she has had multiple relationships, and the main relationship that we have known her from the very first season is an on and off relationship with Dylan Marshall.
For the record, Miss Dunphy,
Yes.
if Haley wasn't my girlfriend and Mr. Dunphy was out of the picture, I would be honored to share your bed and raise Luke, Alex, and Haley as my own.
But we'll get back to Dylan, and we'll get back to talking about him as well. But as we know Haley, she's basically a human personification of Cupid on Earth.
I'm just trying to slow us down a little. We kind of started this whole thing off in the middle. I just want us to catch up emotionally to where we are physically so we don't burn out.
We're not going to burn out. I liked you way before we ever hooked up.
I just want our relationship to be as good as our affair. Something special and magical like in the movies.
What do you want me to do, chase you through an airport? I think we got it.
Oh, yeah.
But let's get back to one major point that I made. As we have known Haley from season 1, we have known that she has had an obsession with fashion, as we have seen her rock multiple fashion statements throughout season 1 up to season 5. I'm not saying that after season 5 she didn't have really great fashion sense. I am just saying that's when we see most of the things that are going on. And as we saw Haley doing all of this, I feel like a lot of fans, including myself, have thought to themselves, is there anything more that's going to come from this? Is she only going to be showing these outfits off to her family, or going out wearing these outfits and everything? Is nothing else ever going to happen? And the writers, they listen.
Ew!
That was so cringy. Oh my god. I'm not gonna say that again. Please. Please restrain me. Oh. So, as I said before, there wasn't much going on with Haley, except from the fact that we knew she loved fashion, but we never saw her actually putting her mind into doing anything with fashion. So, in season 5, episode 13, we see that Haley has started her own personal website, which entails multiple fashion choices of hers, in which she shows the world what she wears. And she does say that multiple people do come up to her asking her, "Oh, where do you buy this stuff?" Or "Where'd you get this stuff? How can I look like this?" And they proceed to take fashion advice from her. I feel like this episode showed us as the audience how Haley has motivations and how she is striving to show the world her fashion sense. I feel like this brings us closer as the audience to Haley, as it shows us a different side of her that we haven't seen from the very first seasons. Towards the first seasons, we saw Haley as pretty much a pretty girl that got everything that she wanted, or that she felt as if she didn't need to work hard for what she wanted. And in this episode, it is shown to us that I feel like she had that realization where she needed to work hard if she wanted to have what she truly wanted. And we see the results of that from the website, in which she has people asking her for fashion advice. And this brings us into the work side of Haley and shows us how hardworking she is. This is the first time, in my opinion, in which we see Haley's fashion sense take a dive into something way more glorious than what it was before. But this isn't the first or even the last time that we see Haley so passionate about something. Another time or another example in which I see this happen again with Haley would be in season 6, episode 7, in which she gets an interview with Gavin Sinclair.
Haley has a job interview?
That's where she is right now.
With who?
Gavin Sinclair, the big-time stylist to the stars. He's the one that slapped Katie Couric.
Oh,
Our little girl's gonna be okay after all.
what'd I tell you? One thing about our girl, she's a fighter.
She is able to get this interview with Gavin Sinclair thanks to Andy, and thanks to Andy as well, she's able to get the confidence she needs to proceed to rock the interview. But once she gets there, Haley doesn't seem like she's up for the job.
I have an appointment to see Gavin Sinclair.
Not today. He's in a mood.
Okay.
But luckily, after some persuasion and some very much needed talk back from herself in her car, Haley proceeds to stand up to the really rude receptionist and proceeds to stand up to Gavin Sinclair himself and gets the job. Kay? Who says Kay? I love Haley so much. Season 5 and season 6 are two of my favorite seasons because there's so much that happens in those two seasons that is so important. For instance, the fact that Gloria proceeds to get pregnant. But I do believe that one of the main reasons for which I like these two seasons a lot is because this is when we actually start to see Haley Dunphy for more than what she has been portrayed from the very beginning. We start seeing Haley Dunphy as such a independent and strong character. We start seeing her as more than just a fashion icon. We start seeing her as more than just the dumb Dunphy. We just start seeing more of Haley Dunphy. As I have mentioned before, I do believe that Andy was one of the best characters from season 6 up to season 7, I do believe. And I do love that man with all my heart, because he was basically a spit image of Phil. Phil being one of my other favorite characters, but he was a spit image of Phil that still had his own characteristics and wasn't just a copy-paste version of him. But just to retell, for the people who have never watched Modern Family before, who is Andy Bailey? Andy Bailey is Joe Pritchard's former male nanny, Phil Dunphy's former real estate assistant, and Haley Dunphy's ex-boyfriend. And one of my favorite ones, Beth's ex-fiance. The very first times that we do see Haley and Andy communicating with each other will be in the beginning of season 5 or the middle of season 5, in which Haley proceeds to go into Jay's house whilst Jay and Gloria and Manny are out, and proceeds to go there without Andy's knowledge. This basically ensues a rivalry or a sort of tension between Haley and Andy, where they continuously throughout the beginning of season 5 throw daggers at each other, and it's absolutely the cutest thing ever because you can tell something is gonna happen. But towards the end of season 5, we do start seeing more of Haley and Andy starting to become more friends than just enemies. And towards the end of season 5 and the beginning of season 6, which the end of season 5 actually has Cameron and Mitchell's wedding, we do start seeing Haley starting to form feelings for Andy. This is the first time that we actually see Haley chasing after a man and not a man chasing after her. This is very much a one-time spectacle, as Haley has always had it easy, especially in the love department. It is very refreshing to see, as we always see Haley get any man that she wants with the snap of her fingers, and for the first time, she isn't able to get the same outcomes that she has had previously. In the second episode, in which we see Mitchell and Cameron's wedding, we do also get an amazing quote from Alex said to Haley.
Haley, I hope you know what you're doing.
I'm not doing anything.
I mean, it's one thing if you're actually into him, but if you're just playing around with him for the fun of it, here's the thing about nice, quiet dorks like Andy. You get over us much faster than we get over you.
I really love that quote said by Alex, as it shows a lot of her raw and fragile side, as she explains to Haley how it feels to be dumped by someone like her or someone as popular as her. After that episode, towards season 6, we do see way more of Haley and Andy, and we start seeing both sides as Haley starts to develop more and more feelings towards Andy as they continue to be friends, and as Andy also starts developing feelings for Haley. But as we know, my least favorite character has to pop in between them. We find out from the very beginning, from when Haley and Andy started talking to each other, that Andy does in fact have a girlfriend / fiance, Beth. I don't know her surname. I don't want to know her surname. And whilst Andy, towards season 6, starts developing feelings for Haley, he doesn't feel like showing anything towards Haley or doesn't try to make a move towards Haley. Thank God, because he's in a relationship. Because he is committed to Beth and does completely believe that Beth loves him back. And I feel like this is one main reason why Andy never made any move in general. He believed that Beth genuinely loved him. He believed that Beth was his anchor in just keeping him into a stable relationship or whatever. He just felt, I think he felt more comfortable with Beth and just wanted to stay in that type of relationship. Throughout season 6, we do start seeing more and more of Haley and Andy loving on each other as the season goes by, and we see how much their feelings develop for one another as the season goes by. This episode basically entails the graduation of Alex from high school as she is moving on to college. And in this episode, we do get a lot of Haley and Andy. In this episode, Beth, Andy, and Haley start to hang out, and at the beginning of it, Haley feels as if Beth generally likes her, or she doesn't have any malicious intent towards her. But as the episode goes on, we do find out that Beth does have very much malicious intentions towards Haley. And Haley, throughout most of the episode, is fearing for her own life. Another thing that I would like to mention is the fact that Phil wasn't able to attend Alex's graduation, but because he did want to be there, he proceeded to Skype them at Jay's house. That's another reason why the episode is called American Skyper. Whilst Phil is Skyping, he's basically used as a therapist for everyone. Everyone talks to him that day. It feels like usually people don't really talk to Phil, but that day they just felt really comfortable talking to him for some reason. As Haley proceeds to start talking to Phil as well, in privacy of course, she proceeds to tell Phil that she has feelings for Andy, and I find this so sad because in that moment as well, it takes a while for her to proceed to tell Phil that she has feelings for him. And when she finally does, she says,
Well, doesn't matter anyway. He's in love with someone else. Maybe I'm the crazy one.
oh my god, it is actually so sad. But Phil also, towards the middle of the episode, had a talk with Andy as well, in which Andy proceeds to tell him, oh, I really do want to get engaged with Beth, but I do have feelings for this other girl. And Phil proceeds to push Andy towards proposing to Beth, as he says, if you truly love Beth, then you will go towards her instead of having like this type of fling with this other girl. Not realizing that Andy is talking about his own daughter. But as Andy and Haley are hugging each other, as Andy is on his way to propose to Beth, Phil quickly realizes that Haley is the other woman that Andy was talking about. As he notices the way that Andy is hugging Haley in a longing manner, and realizes quickly that he's in love with her as well. And in that moment, Phil's mic drops. Nobody's able to hear him, and he's the only person that knows about the whole situation. Andy goes off with Beth to propose to her, and Haley is left by herself. The next episode, we proceed to get more of the spill about what did happen. As Phil proceeds to call Claire, and, well, not Claire, proceeds to call Cameron, and proceeds to tell Haley that Andy does have feelings for him, and that they both reciprocate each other. And Haley proceeds to drive up to break up Andy's engagement. But who's there to stop her? Claire! We love Claire, but sometimes, girl, come on now, you need to stop yourself. Claire basically stops Haley from breaking up an engagement as she asks Haley, what do you think this is going to end up with? Are you just going to have a short relationship? Are you just going to play around with each other? Or are you actually thinking about ending up with this man? And Haley doesn't know the answer for it. She says, and we meant to figure this out as we go along. And Claire does say, that looks like a man that wants to settle down. And because of that, Haley is not able to go forward and break up the engagement, and Andy proceeds to propose to Beth. As I recapped all of that, I didn't just say all of that for no reason because it felt like a lot of blabbing on. But I do feel like making points about certain things that I did mention towards that. One point would be the fact that Claire proceeded to stop whatever was going to happen. And as much as I do proceed to say, oh, why did you, Claire? Why did you do that? There's a lot of sense into what she did. She is Haley's mother, and of course she's going to be looking out for what is best for her, but also going to be directing her into what is right in her life, or directing her into a good path. And of course Claire is going to be thinking about the future, thinking about the fact that Haley, seeing as her past relationship have gone that way, will just want a little relationship or just to sleep around per se. So she just needs to ask Haley what does she want. And I feel like that's a question that has been asked to Haley multiple times about Andy, and she is still not able to answer, which I feel like is completely perfect that they didn't end up in that moment in time, and that Claire stopped her from breaking up the engagement, because Haley still didn't know what she wanted. Another thing that I wanted to make a point about would be my worst enemy, Beth. Beth is a character that I very much do not like. I have my reasons. I will explain my reasons later, but I very much do not like Beth. And I don't like her. She's a bitch. Fuck you, Beth. Anyways, I feel like her character in general, and the fact that she was able to stop both Andy and Haley from getting together, was very much necessary. As I had mentioned before, Claire was a blocker in Haley proceeding to break up Andy and Beth's engagement, which was perfect in some way. And I feel like it was a good blocker for Beth to be there to block Haley and Andy from having any type of relationship that early on. As I have explained, I did not feel like Haley was ready enough, her character was ready enough to have such a heavy relationship. And I feel like it was perfect in the way that Haley and Andy got to slowly fall in love with each other and slowly realize that they had been falling in love with each other. The way they did get together, or the way they did have whatever, was a bit messed up at the beginning. But I do believe that Haley and Andy, or the relationship Haley had with Andy, was one of the best relationships she has ever had. And I do believe that with Andy especially, she had one of the best character developments, because Haley flourished while she was with Andy.
So much easier. Look, I texted you to say the same thing.
You did?
Yeah. I'm trying to be a better person. Ironically, you're one of the reasons why, but
It is explained in certain episodes as well, where Haley herself does say that Andy has helped her become a better person. And I do believe that from the bottom of my heart. I do believe that Andy helped her proceed to get her dream job, or dream job in quote unquote, helped her proceed to be a better person to other people, helped her become hardworking, independent, helped her in so many ways, and helped her just become the Haley Dunphy that we see towards season 6 and season 7. And I absolutely love that Andy was there to be able to guide her towards that. Andy, as much as a copy of Phil, was amazing in doing this. I feel like it was perfect that he was a copy of Phil, because Phil does bring out the best out of Claire, and Andy was the best to bring out the best out of Haley. But I do fully believe that after they did proceed to get together, Andy and Haley did proceed to have one of the best relationship and the healthiest relationship Haley has ever had. Hey people, how's it going? This is a different day, so I just, I'm a very forgetful person. I have 0 brain cells working in my brain, so sometimes I forget shit, I didn't realize that I didn't film an outro for the first part of the video, so here I am, I guess. Thank you very much for watching the video, and I generally do hope you did enjoy it. If you are interested in what I have talked about in this video and you want to watch more, please consider watching my other videos in my channel, and please consider watching the second part of the video, which will be posted in a couple of days. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope that you enjoyed it, because if you did enjoy it, please consider liking, subscribing, and I don't know, do whatever you want to do. I don't know. It's a free country, innit? It's a free country. I hope you have a nice rest of your day, and bye.